Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're doing great because I'm doing great. I hope your weekday is going well so far, and of course I hope your weekend is even better. Alright, now let's begin. So fun fact number 50, TV show review 10, I am doing Riverdale. Now you all should know what Riverdale is. It's one of the most popular shows out right now, and it has been for the last 4 years. But if you don't know what it is, then hopefully I convince you to want to go watch it after you leave this video. Alright, so let's begin. So first things first, I'm going to be telling you guys the plot to the show. Alright, so the plot is, while navigating the troubled waters of romance, school, and family, Archie and his gang become entangled in dark Riverdale mystery, so that is the plot to the show. Riverdale is an American teen drama television series. It is based on the characters of Archie comics. It's a CW show. Riverdale originally was supposed to be a film on Warner Bros. Pictures, but it was reimagined as a television series for Fox, and then later on it moved to CW like I stated earlier. Riverdale is filmed in Vancouver, British Columbia. Riverdale debuted on January 26, 2017. Alright, now moving on to the characters now. The first character that I'm going to be talking about is Betty Cooper, who is being played by Lily Reinhart. Alright, Betty is one of the main characters on the show. She was a student at Riverdale High School and a longtime friend of Archie, Jughead, Kevin, and Veronica, so once again that is Betty Cooper.
Past is part of... You gave my money to the farm.
Alright, I'm moving on to the next character now, which is Jughead Jones, and he is being played by Cole Sprouts. Jughead was a senior at Riverdale High School and the leader of the Southside Surfers with his girlfriend Betty, so once again, that's Jughead.
It's a stealth operation, Archie.
Doily, I'm writing an article for the Blue and Gold.
Okay, now moving on to the next character now, which is Cheryl Blossom, and she is being played by Madeline Pesh. Cheryl is the daughter of Penelope and the late Clifford Blossom, and as well as the twin sister of the late Jason Blossom. She is also Tony's girlfriend, so once again, this is Cheryl.
Greetings, chums. To let you know that after the I think she's crazier than a serial killer on bath salts.
Okay, now moving on to the next character now, which is Archie Andrews, and he is being played by KJ Apa. Archie was a student at Riverdale High School, a building musician, and a football player for the Riverdale Bulldogs. So once again, this is Archie.
Sorry, Betty, I didn't do it.
Okay, now moving on to the next character now, which is Veronica Launch, and she's being played by Camila Mendez. Veronica was a student at Riverdale High School and a member of the River Vixens, so once again, this is Veronica.
How are the onion rings here?
I forgot how exhausting it is.
Okay, now moving on to the next character now, which is Alice Smith, and she is being played by Madchenamick. I don't know how to pronounce her first name or her last name, but that's how you spell it. She's the one playing Alice. Alice is the former editor and co-owner of the local newspaper, the ex-wife of Hal Cooper, and the mother of Betty and Polly, so once again, this is Alice.
Oh, I'm sorry. I won't allow it.
Okay, now moving on to the next character now, which is Hiram Launch, and he's being played by Mark Consuelos. I can't pronounce his last name, but that's how you spell it. He's the one playing Hiram. Hiram is the concealed hidden secondary antagonist of the first season. He is Veronica's father and the ex-husband of Hermione, so once again, this is Hiram.
This is about the attack on your delivery truck. I think Elio's family built their gambling.
Okay, now moving on to the next character now, which is Reggie Mantle, and he's being played by Charles Melton, but in the first season, he was being played by Ross Butler first, and then they switched it. I'm not sure why. Alright, but Charles Melton is the one that's currently playing Reggie. Alright, Reggie was only a recurring character but was prompted to series regular for the 3rd season and onward. So once again, this is Reggie.
Why would I? Unless there's proof.
Veronica, I gave you everything.
Okay, now moving on to the next character now, which is Josie Mccoy, and she is being played by Ashley Moraine. Josie was the lead singer and guitarist of Josie and the Pussycats, but then she ended up leaving and becoming a solo artist, so once again, this is Josie.
Give me that look that we're on a date.
Listen up, Andrews.
Okay, now moving on to the next character now, which is Sierra McCoy, and she's being played by Robin Gibbons. Sierra is the mother of Josie, so once again, this is Sierra.
He's the jingle jack.
Okay, now moving on to the next character now, which is Tony, and she is being played by Vanessa Morgan. Tony is the girlfriend of Cheryl Blossom. Tony was initially a recurring character in the 2nd season, but was prompted to a main character in the 3rd season and onward. So once again, this is Tony.
You threw a key party? So you could hurt Kevin and Fangs?
Okay, now moving on to the next character now, which is Pop Tate, and he is being played by Alvin Sanders. Pop is a recurring character on the show, so once again, this is Pop.
No. I feel a gunfire back in.
Okay, now moving on to the next character now, which is Hermione Launch, and she is being played by Marisol Nichols. Hermione was initially a main character, but was demoted to a recurring character for the 5th season and onward. Hermione is also the ex-wife of Hiram Launch and the mother of Veronica Launch, so once again, this is Hermione.
Do your homework. But the Black Hood is not the problem.
Okay, now moving on to the last character that I'm going to be talking about, which is FP Jones, and he's being played by Skeet Ulrich. FP initially was a recurring character during season 1, but was prompted to series regular for the 2nd season and onward, and he is also the father of Jughead Jones, so once again, this is FP.
Excuse me, Pop. First time I crashed on this thing.
So I have done done talking about the characters, now let me give you my overall thoughts over the show. So Riverdale came out in 2017, but I did not get into it until early 2018. I remember going on Netflix and I was looking for something to watch, and at the time, everything they had at the time, I was either not interested in or I've seen before, so Riverdale was basically the only option at that point, which was fine because the cover looked interesting, and when I clicked on it, the plot sounded interesting. And I remember people at school and on social media would say, oh, I love Riverdale, it's the best. And Riverdale was huge at this point, so I said, let me watch it, let me see what I'm missing. I started watching it and I absolutely loved it, to the point I was rewatching seasons and some episodes. So yeah, absolutely loved it. And at this time they only had 2 seasons. It took them a while to add season 3. I remember looking at 2 seasons for over a year, but then I had to remember Riverdale's not a Netflix show anyway, it's a CW show, so I could have just gone on there, but at the time I didn't know. So I'm just sitting here waiting on Netflix. I could have been watching season 3 the whole time on CW, so yeah. But anyway, Riverdale started to go downhill after season 3, or in the middle of season 3. I noticed that the quality was gone. It became more cringier, and it became less about teenagers, high school students, and more about whatever direction it was trying to go in. I noticed that it wasn't what it originally was when it first came out. It was a big shift. I don't know what happened. And then I also noticed that they have all these black characters that were on the show, or they did have these black characters on the show, and they were either written off with no explanation, they were starting to get less screen time, or like Tony, they've been there this entire time, but you barely know anything about them. But I've seen some promo pics for the 5th season that actually already started, but they went on this long break. So I think maybe all that's going to change. It seems like they're bringing the black characters back. But despite all of that, Riverdale is not a terrible show. If it was terrible, I would have logged out like 3 seasons ago. So it's not terrible. They just have little errors like that they need to fix. They can easily fix it. They just gotta notice it, fix it, and do it the right way, and they were good. People give this show unnecessary hate. It's not a terrible show. They just have little cringy stuff, stuff that, most shows that are set in high school are usually just like, they're never like high school shows. It's like, why are we set in high school? They act like adults, so Riverdale is just one of those shows. But again, it's not terrible. They just need to fix whatever I just said. I'm gonna give this show an 8 out of 10. I can't give it a 10 out of 10 because of the things I stated earlier, but I do recommend this show to you guys. Okay guys, so that is the end of this video. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe to my channel if you hadn't already done that. Comment how you feel about Riverdale. Comment how you feeling in general. You don't have to comment if you don't want to, all right? I love you guys so much. Thank you for watching this video. See you later.